we now have Jessica McRoskey from Meissner Filtration.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jessica McRoskey. I'm an engineer with the research and development team at Meissner Filtration Products, who's an industry leader in single-use and filtration systems. Today, I'll be talking to you about our SepraPor hollow fiber filter line and its performance during cell culture perfusion applications. Hollow fiber filters enable tangential flow filtration, where the feed stream flows parallel along the membrane rather than perpendicularly into the membrane. This parallel feed stream sweeps through the fiber, reducing membrane fouling and increasing filtration performance. Although flat sheet membrane cassettes can also be used for tangential flow filtration, hollow fibers are typically preferred for feed streams with high particulate and solid loading, such as cell suspension, cell debris, or highly viscous liquids. Our SepraPor hollow fiber filters come in retention ratings of 0.1, 0.2, and 0.45 micron porosity, and are ideal for all stages of process scalability, with effective filtration areas up to 8.3 square meters. Our hollow fiber membranes are manufactured with polysulfone and have very tight wall thickness tolerances and are highly symmetric porosities. These characteristics are extremely important for having a consistent cross-flow and high throughput, and for prolonging filtration lifespan. Sorry, wrong button. We recognize that consistency is one of the major challenges associated with integrating hollow fiber or tangential flow filters into your process. And having inconsistent filtration performance can require changing other process parameters to maintain the same batch-to-batch performance. This is why it is so important to have consistent filtration. Again, if you have inconsistent filters, inconsistent filtration, then you will have to change other parameters in your process to compensate. And a lot of these applications have very tightly controlled processing parameters, so this is a big disadvantage. On the other hand, having consistent filters and being proactive with minimizing areas of variability directly increases the consistency of your process. This is why SepraPor hollow fiber membranes are engineered for enhanced process consistency, and that starts with our membrane morphology. Bubble point is a common characteristic used to define the porosity or retention rating of a membrane. Here we can see the published bubble point ranges of 3 different suppliers. I think at first glance, it would be surprising to most people that the bubble point ranges can differ so much from supplier to supplier. Although all these membranes pass industry standard bacterial and mycoplasma retentive tests that define the bounds of the porosity ratings, their membrane characterization and the morphology lead to differences in performance across the suppliers. If you take a look at supplier A here, you will see that they have comparatively wide bubble point ranges, which insinuates that it would have a wider range of performance for a given porosity. In application, this would make reproducibility in your process more of a challenge. In addition, as bubble point increases, flux decreases. So in an application where you wanted a 0.1 micron membrane for your process, you would expect to see the lowest flux and least efficiency from supplier A, from these specifications. Looking at supplier B, you can see that there's significant overlap between the bubble point ranges of different porosities. If you are trying to order a 0.45 micron membrane for your process, you do not want to be wondering whether one will come and perform more as a 0.65 micron membrane, while another will come and perform as a 0.2 micron membrane. There is a clear disadvantage to choosing a reliable filter for your process. SepraPor membranes are characterized with distinct separation and narrow bubble point ranges for enhanced batch-to-batch reproducibility in your process. Because of the reliability and robustness of our SepraPor hollow fiber filters, they are ideal for cell culture perfusion applications. Perfusion applications can often run up to a few weeks, so long-term consistency is key. Here we can see a typical perfusion setup, where you would have cells suspended within the bioreactor and pumped through your tangential flow filter. The cells are retained in solution and flow back into the bioreactor with the retentate. Product containing permeate is filtered out through the SepraPor filter, and that is collected as cell-free harvest. At the same time as you are pulling permeate, you are also adding fresh culture media to maintain the same vessel volume and to give your cells fresh nutrients for growth and viability. One of the main ways to characterize membrane performance during a perfusion run is by recording the feed and transmembrane pressures. As a membrane fouls, it becomes more difficult for the solution to filter through and to maintain a consistent permeate flow rate. That's why when you're tracking the transmembrane pressure, you will see a jump or an increase in that pressure over your perfusion run if your membrane is fouling. Here we have a 21-day benchtop CHO cell perfusion run, which was evaluated with one of our SepraPor hollow fiber filters. Cells were inoculated on day 0, and perfusion was started on day 3, which is when we started recording the feed and transmembrane pressures. As you can see, over the 18 days of perfusion, the feed pressure only increased by 1.2 psi, and the transmembrane pressure only increased by 1.5 psi. Furthermore, we were able to reach a maximum cell density of 54 million cells per milliliter and maintained a cell viability over 90% throughout the entire run. Overall, the membrane performance was consistent and minimal fouling was observed. Looking towards the future, we are working on expanding our SepraPor hollow fiber filter product line, and so we will have an ultrafiltration update coming very soon for you all. Feel free to also come ask me a little bit about that in our booth later on, but we will definitely have something for you by the time we're on the other side of the country at BPI West, so keep an eye out for that. You can get more information from our website at meisner.com/SepraPor, or we are over in booth 638, and you can come and learn more and ask me questions after the presentation. Thank you so much for listening. Any questions? Okay. All right, thank you.